The Board of Dentures proudly presents the fighting pride of Athens, Greece. Here is Andreas Katzourakis.
Guys, welcome. Happy Monday, Memorial Day to all of you guys. And I tell you what, as a special treat, we are featuring future world champion at 154 and 60 and 68, the incomparable Andreas Katzourakis. Andreas, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's our pleasure, sir. And to help me with these honors in this special conversation with the Cats, it's my pleasure to introduce my brother, J.R. Bell, Mr. Boxing Source. How you doing, sir?
So what's going on? Doing all good here on this Monday, Memorial Day. Just chilling out here with the great Andreas Katzourakis, preparing for his bout.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, that's going to be a tough one. You are fighting this Friday on Red Owl Boxing, Houston, Texas, and it was a stacked card. And if I weren't going to be laid up in a gurney from surgery, I'd be there covering it. I tell you what, Andreas. Now, it's funny, though. Your trainer, Ronnie Shields, future Hall of Famer, the trainer of champions, he's going to be in Saudi Arabia with your brother, Philip. Now, Who's going to be in your corner? It's Miss
Latrevia Pierce.
Yes,
his assistant. Latrevia she's great. She's already worked my corner a couple of times. Once because on our first televised fight in Atlanta with Overdem again in August, because Ronnie got COVID while we were in Atlanta. So
that's 2 days right. Before the fight, remember that.
Yeah, 2 days before the fight, we figured out that he couldn't be in my corner. And then last fight, because of some medical issues, that everything is great now. So it's going to be the third time that I'm going to have only Trevia in my corner as the head coach.
Yeah, I tell you what. She used to be Ronnie's fighter back in the day when I first started going to his gym. That was, oh my gosh, that was almost 20 years ago, brother. But this special event, and he's going to be fighting Kudratillo, Abdukakhorov. And boy, this is a hard fighting gentleman, very good fighter from Uzbekistan. What do you know about Abdukakhorov, and are you ready for this challenge? And this is the finals of this 154-pound tournament, isn't it?
No, that's the first round from
very good. Okay.
From our group. I mean, I've seen him. I know that he's very experienced. He has many 10 and 12 round fights. I don't think that he ever faced a guy like me in terms of he had a fighter. I mean, he lost from Cody Crowley, and Cody Crowley he was a pressure fighter, but I don't think we have many similarities. I don't think we have many similarities with Cody Crowley. I think I have much heavier punches, much heavier hands. My defense is tighter and better, so I don't think it's going to be an easy fight, but I definitely think it's gonna be a great fight for me.
Indeed, and my goodness, my apologies. I almost dropped something here. Holy cow! My apologies, guys. But look, also Raul Marquez's son Giovanni's going to be on the card, and also another round from that Robert Terry is going to be fighting Esteban Villalobos. Yeah, this is going to be a stacked card, guys, and it's going to be televised on DAZN. Now, you used to train with Abel Sanchez out at the Big Bear Lake, right?
Yes.
And how did you come to, start training with our brother Ronnie Shields?
So I was training with Abel for about a year, and one day, out of the blue, he just told us that he's going to retire. He's about to retire. So once he retired, basically, I will start, I talked with my management, split the boxing, to see our options and where we should move next. The funny thing is that Ronnie wasn't one of the coaches that they were working at the time. They never had a fighter with him. So he wasn't one of the names that came up. Many names came up, many great names came up, but Ronnie wasn't one of them. But because, I really liked boxing and I was watching everything and I was looking for trainers and I already knew who Ronnie was, who he was training, and I really liked him as a person. You know, I was trying to look at his interviews and everything else to try to understand him as a person. And I asked him, I say, I want to work with Ronnie Shields. And you know, there was some trouble in the beginning because they couldn't figure out a way to get me in camp. But they said, you guys are who you are. You are split E. You're working with everyone. Get me at Ronnie Shields. So once they got in contact with him, Ronnie asked them to bring me over for a couple of weeks. And after our first couple of trainings, it was set. It was set in stone.
Oh, and I know why you want to train with one. Not only are you training with arguably the greatest trainer in boxing at this time, but boy, iron sharpens iron. All of that sparring at 154 and 60 pounds. Wow. What's it been like sparring with all of those bad dudes at the Sugarland gym?
I would say that right now, Ronnie Shields at 54, from 47 to 68 probably, it's the most stacked gym in the United States. It's full of contenders, it's full of champions, it's amazing.
Wow. And he's told me, he said, you know what? I've got to peel him off of Jamal Charlo sometimes. I've got to say, hey guys, this isn't the real thing. Come on now, save it for the fight. And he insists that your sparring sessions are better than most fights that we see on TV. Is that the truth?
Look, at the end of the day, my sparring sessions are like my fights. I'm a pressure fighter. I like to fight, so I move forward. I give a lot of punches, and they are definitely exciting.
Wow. I'll tell you what, James, do you have any questions for the Cats at this time, sir?
Just, looking forward to, this upcoming bout. I know, like he said, he's been in a couple of these OTX boxing events, and, he was able to stay active there with his last fight that was in January of this year. So he's definitely prepared for this bout coming up on May 31st.
Exactly.
Indeed. Have you had a now it looks like you've been staying active, but I would think that there aren't a whole lot of contenders that actually want to get in the ring with Andreas Katzourakis at this time. Does your management group and does Ronnie, do you guys have a hard time finding opposition?
So I'll tell you this. I think we were extremely fortunate and lucky to have overtime making a tournament like this one, because we did have a very difficult time. Of course, I mean, on the local shows, the budget is smaller, so it's going to be 100 times harder to get a good quality opponent in there. But even on televised shows, that the budget was a very good amount, we still had a very difficult time finding an opponent. So now with what Overtime did with the tournament, it gives me, of course, if I keep performing, it gives me 3 fights by the end of the year with very good opposition. So it's everything I ever wanted.
Indeed. And is it true? Last year, you had a bit of food poisoning and had to go through with the fight. Talk us through that. What happened?
It was, I don't recall. It was versus Cameron Cryle. I don't remember which fight was it. I think it was either my 8th. It was either 7 to 9, one of these fights. I got food poisoning the day of the fight. I had for lunch salmon with pasta, and probably something was wrong with the salmon. And I started feeling terrible in my stomach. At the beginning, I thought it was just because of the whole rehydration situation and everything. But as the time was moving forward, instead of my stomach getting better, it was escalating. It was becoming more and more and more. So getting to the venue, it was a grueling process in the car. It was very tough. Then we got there. I didn't want to say nothing to anybody. I didn't want to say to Ronnie. I didn't want to say to anyone. I didn't want to word them. And I remember when we were hitting the pads with Ronnie on the backstage, every combo that I was throwing, even it was a 1-2, I would stop because I had to burp. I had to breathe. And Ronnie would be like, "Katz, all good?" I'm like, "Yes, coach. Don't worry about it." But during the fight, a couple of rounds, not a couple of rounds, every round during the fight, I was throwing up in my mouth.
Oh, jeez.
And a couple rounds I had to spit it out. But you know, I mean, it is what it is. I had to go through it. I mean, I couldn't cancel the fight last second. If you, I will send you some photos from the fight afterwards. If you see my face during when they were raising my hand, I couldn't even laugh. I was in pain. Like I was struggling to smile. Yeah.
Wow.
The day of the fight, the day after the fight, on the night, I lost 9.5 pounds from throwing up.
Wow. I'll tell you what, we want to thank Mad Chad for being here. Tell you what, he's such a guys. If you haven't already, please go subscribe to Mad Chad. Always has great conversation. Always a great fan of boxing, as well as a great fan of music. Tell you what. And he says, let's go, Andreas. And thank you for joining us. Also, my brother Peter Von Arx, thank you for joining us, sir. If you guys have any questions for the future champion at 154 pounds, please let him fly, guys. But how long do you, because you're a big 54-pounder, how long do you anticipate staying at junior middleweight, sir?
Look, it's going to be my first time making 154. I made 156 a couple times. I made 155 for a time, and it was all the times it was easy. Even this camp has been very easy for me to drop the weight. After my training today, which is 3 days before the weigh-ins, I was 159, so I'm virtually already in weight. I think I can stay here as long as I want, to be honest, because I'm 27 years old. I think my body's I'm 26, but I'm 27 on September. My body is already formed. It's already muscular. I don't think I have way more to gain. But I would say, for personal reasons, like what I want to achieve in the sport, if we can get a world title shot at 2025, I would definitely consider moving up to 160 afterwards.
And so we look at 154 right now.
Yes.
We look at the badasses from 47 moving up. Terrence Crawford, Virgil Ortiz, Errol Spence is going to be making his debut at 154 pounds later on this year against the newly crowned champion, Sebastian Fundora. Great guy. You also have Tim Tszyu is going to be taking on Virgil Ortiz on August 3rd.
Amazing
this
fight.
Is a stacked weight class.
Yes.
Are you ready for the elite at junior middleweight, sir?
I'm more than ready. I can't wait, to be honest, I can't wait to get in the mix. I'm very excited also that the guys from 47 moved up, because fighters like Spence, Crawford, they bring a lot to the table, they bring money to the division, and it's very exciting to have them join us. I hope they both stay at 54, and it's gonna be some fun years to come.
Oh boy, I tell you what, it's going to be exciting for all of us here in South Texas. We're excited to see you start to compete with the elite at junior middleweight. And then we look at the landscape of 60. Now, obviously, you've got your Basanala, but it seems to be wide open. Also, Carlos Adames, Erislandy Lara, Ronnie's former fighter. But it seems to be wide open.
Yes.
Yeah, and honestly, I think all you need is the opportunity. Is that how you feel? All you need is the opportunity, and you're ready to shine on the big stage.
That's exactly how I feel. I got my first taste on August, but I think the opportunity I'm getting now with the tournament, it's my opportunity to really show who I am as a fighter and that I belong. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to take full advantage of this opportunity, and I'm going to let everybody know that I'm ready for a world title shot after this tournament.
Guys, it's going to be on DAZN this Friday night. So we've got a little game to play, though. Andreas, are you ready, sir? Here we go.
Hey, we ain't ducking and dodging nobody. It's time for fact or fiction.
Oh, did you guys actually hear that, or was it buffering?
No, I was able to hear it.
Okay, very good. I guess it's just on my end. Chihuahua. But, oh gosh, I forgot to write these down, my friend. So I'm going to have to ask him if you can think of one. Also, while I'm reading off the first, Big James, or maybe I have it right here. My computer's a little slow. My apologies. Hold on. Here it is. We'll start with number 5. He's your stablemate. Big James, number 5, please, sir. Can you read it?
Yeah, all right, here we go. Filip Hrgović will stop Daniel Dubois this Saturday and become the IBF heavyweight champion. Fact or fiction?
Am I replying?
Fact
Yes,
or fiction,
yeah.
sir?
That's fact.
Yeah.
Fact.
So tell us how is the Croatian sensation in the gym?
Filip is amazing. Filip is an amazing, hardworking guy. He's in the gym working his ass off every day. He's having, like, his sparring sessions are going on forever. What really impresses me on him is his output for a heavyweight. How many combos he's throwing and how many punches he's throwing per round. That's what really impresses me. And I think that's what will overwhelm Daniel Dubois. Because at the end of the day, he might be throwing combos, he might be throwing volume, but he can punch too. So I can see a stoppage coming later in the fight.
Wow. I'll tell you what, I can't wait, guys. And that's where Ronnie is right now. He doesn't even know we're doing this interview. Boy, he's going to be tickled when I send the file to him. But yeah, right now, he spent last week in Croatia getting ready for the trip. Now
Yes.
he should be arriving today in Saudi Arabia. And yeah, we can't wait to see all of this unfold on June 1st. Once again, guys, it's going to be on DAZN pay-per-view. We want to encourage all of you guys, don't steal, purchase. Don't steal, purchase, because Andreas, this has become a huge problem in boxing, right? How do we get past this illegal streaming thing with all the fans?
I
What
really
are we
don't
going to
know.
do?
I really don't know. I think that it's an unfortunate situation. I don't know what to say. I feel like that the fans, and the funny thing on this situation is that the fans that are complaining about some fights not happening or some big fights or anything else, they're the ones that are stealing the pay-per-views.
Guilty
I
dog
think that
barks the
if you
loudest.
I think if you want to help boxing improve, and if you want to help boxing make bigger fights and better fights, you have to be willing to pay and support the athletes, support the streaming platforms, support the TV channels, so they can make better cards and pay the athletes what they deserve.
I couldn't have said that. That is very well said, Andreas. I'll tell you what, James, do you have anything to add to that?
I was like, haven't we said that before, Joe?
Yeah. You know what? But Andreas, that's how sharp he is. He gets it. Like, not only does he understand everything, obviously, that's going on in the ring, he's one of the best in boxing, but he understands the business end of it. Now, let me ask you something. I know you've got a great management team behind you, but are you hands-on with your business as well? Are you one of those fighters that you go out and hunt down sponsors? Are you active in that part of your business?
Yes, I definitely am. All the sponsors that I have until now are coming through me and friends of mine. I'm hoping, and that's what I was expecting, to be honest, at the beginning too, when we were talking with my management and everything, that when we start having TV fights and TV deals, that's when they would step up too and bring bigger sponsors to the game. So I'm very active right now on that aspect, and I'm really interested and fascinated about every aspect of the sport and the business aspect too. I think it's a very interesting sport. It's a sport that's difficult to navigate, but very fun to experience and know how it works behind the scenes.
Indeed. I tell you what, you seem very, very astute. And do you find that the Greek community, the healthy Greek community in Houston, Texas, the metropolitan area, do you feel that they are rallying behind you? Because most people don't realize what a small circle this boxing community is. And that's what this is all about. It's all about community, isn't it?
Yes. So the Greek community in Houston couldn't be greater, if I can say it this way. They are amazing. they've been really supportive of me. They've been a great help because, I mean, you guys know better than anyone that at the end of the day, if you can't sell tickets and you can't put on a crowd, you're not gonna fight. And they've been very supportive of me, and you can see that from the fact that Overtime is bringing their show in Houston for me and Giovanni. So
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing. It's really amazing. I love the Greek community here. From the church, they've been very supportive. My very good friend at Nikos, the owner of Nikos, Dimitris, he's been like family to me. I mean, most of the people in the Greek community think that he's my manager and my promoter. that much of support he's showing. Yeah, it's been really amazing.
Well, just stay off the baklava, brother, until post-fight.
No, I haven't touched anything in 10 weeks.
Oh, my goodness. I feel so bad for you, my friend, because that is some good stuff.
I mean, don't worry. We're 4 days away. Afterwards, I'm going to eat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Number 6, Big James.
All right, number 6. Terrence Crawford will get beaten by Israel Madrimov on August 3rd. Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Oh, fiction.
Fiction.
¿Por qué, señor? How do you see this fight playing out, Katz?
Look, I see Crawford dismantling Madrimov, to be honest. I think he is the much superior boxer. I think that if at any moment during the fight he smells blood, he will go for the kill because that's what Crawford does. I think he's one of the best finishers in the game. I'm a big fan of Crawford, to be honest. I really like him as an athlete. I really like him. And as a fighter, you know, I think he's very good all-around fighter. He can fight on the inside or the outside. He can fight southpaw. He can fight orthodox. Once he smells blood, he's a great finisher. And I see him winning the fight. I would say easily. And if he smells blood, as I said, he will take Israel Madrimov out.
Wow. And what round do you see this happening?
As I said, I don't know if it's going to happen in a certain round because with Crawford, you never know. His counter-punching ability is very good. And even though Madrimov has very good footwork and very, very weird angles, I think once Crawford figures him out in the first couple of rounds, he's going to start picking him apart. And with his counter-punching, he can put him down any round.
Wow. I'll tell you what. Yeah, Terrence Crawford is indeed an all-time great.
Yes.
And how would you prepare for a guy like Terrence Crawford? He's an ambidextrous badass. He's a switch hitter. So you've got to fly in southpaw and orthodox fighters for sparring. And then you've got to be able to have guys who can fight in multiple ranges using lateral movement, mid to long range, fighting on the inside in the pocket. How do you prepare for a nightmare like that stylistically?
I don't know what Madrimov gonna do, but if I were in his shoes, I would prefer to have as sparring partners the most skillful guys that I could find, both orthodox and southpaw, in terms of boxing ability. So I wouldn't care that much for the inside game because I feel confident enough on the inside. But I would definitely need to work basically how you approach him from the outside, how you get to work on the inside with Terrence Crawford, and how you can stay in there. I think that's going to be the biggest factor in a game with him because his boxing ability and his IQ is really great. And I mean, I don't care to say it. You know, it's at the end of the day, I'm a fan of the sport, and Terrence Crawford is definitely up there.
Yeah, you know what? I think you've got the beat. James, do you smell that, brother? That is a great article right there, brother. Yep. Number 7, Big James.
All right, here we go. Number 7, 154. Virgil Ortiz Jr. versus Tim Tszyu will prove to be a Fight of the Year candidate, but Virgil will come out on top on August 3rd. Fact or fiction?
That's a tough one, but I would say fact.
Do you think it's a bad idea for Tim Tszyu after that really tough contest against Sebastian Fundora with that huge cut on his head and him coming back so quickly? Do you think that's a miscalculation from his team?
I think it's a terrible idea, to be honest. And I wouldn't say so only because of the huge cut, but because he already had a Fight of the Year candidate with Fundora. He went through a war with him, and to get to another war, because we know that with Virgil Ortiz, it's going to be a war. To get to another war that fast, I mean, I really appreciate it about him, about Team Zhu, and he has my respect. But I think I wouldn't say that he should take a step up before and an easier fight, but at least a couple more months. I know that he likes to be a fighter that fights very often. He's very, excuse me, I miss my language over here. I miss my English. He likes to be very active. He likes to be very active and fights all the time. But I think at that point, he should have taken some more time for himself.
Wow. You know what? I think you're absolutely right. I think Virgil is going to prove to be too tough down the stretch.
Yes.
And I think you should have taken some time off. And, you know, that was a very difficult, very tough, physical, gritty fight. And that was just back in March.
Yes.
Goodness gracious. I tell you what. And also, do you expect, what version of Errol Spence Jr. do you expect to see in October when he fights Sebastian Fundora in Texas?
That's going to be a very, very interesting fight. To be honest, I don't see a clear winner on the fight. Leading up to that, I might say that I might have Fundora edging on the fight. I might have Fundora winning it. But I think it's going to be a very close fight. And it depends on what Spence is going to bring to the table. I mean, in terms of me fighting at 54, even though I've met Fundora, he's an amazing guy and we worked a couple times. I would like better for Spence to win the fight because he's the bigger cash cow, and he's the simpler fighter in terms of like what you have to work. You know, you can find fighters that are southpaw that have a classic boxing style, move forward, move backwards, but how many 6'6" guys you can find to spar? I mean, I have to start sparring Filip Hergovic probably for Fundora, so yeah.
Well, I you know what? And we only have about a minute left. James, do you have anything that you'd like to ask Andreas before we bid him an excellent afternoon?
No, I mean, he gave a great assessment there about, you know, that upcoming fight with Errol Spence Jr. and Sebastian Fundora. That's going to be a very interesting matchup. And also the comment there with Tim Zhu. Like, yeah, that was a very, very vicious cut that he suffered on the top of his head. And, you know, I thought that he would have, you know, been out as long as Sebastian Fundora was going to be out with his broken nose. But no, he said he wanted to get right back into the fire. And I'm not sure if that's going to be a good move for him going up against Virgil Ortiz Jr.
Yeah, I think Andreas. Are you getting, James? Are you getting vibes of Dimitri Salita with Andreas, where you can see him becoming a promoter eventually in this business after he retires?
Yeah, dude,
I can totally see that. Can you?
He already has a knowledge of the sport already, so yeah, I could see that.
I tell you what,
because that's something that I definitely want to do in the future.
He's sharp. Well, I tell you what, though, you're not out of the hot seat yet, brother. We've got one final one for you. Are you ready? Here's the most controversial one. James, let him have it, brother.
All right. Ryan Garcia will not be suspended and will get to keep his win over Devin Haney, but will offer Haney a rematch that will take place later this year in Las Vegas. Fact or fiction?
I hope the first half is fiction and the second half is fact.
What are your thoughts on all of this mess that's happening with the New York State Athletic Commission and their investigation with Ryan Garcia testing positive twice?
I think the whole situation is a joke, to be honest. I think Ryan Garcia him and his team are extremely smart on the marketing department. And I mean, we know how the sport works and how drugs work. WADA doesn't make mistakes. If WADA catches you, you are dirty. It's not politics, it's not money, it's nothing. If they catch you, you're dirty. So the fact that they caught him, the fact that he's dirty, his B sample came positive too. And through marketing and media, they've been able to confuse the crowd so much and make a lot of people believe that he didn't do anything wrong. It's crazy to me. I think it's a fact that he took the drug test, he came positive, it is what it is. The fight should be a no contest. I don't really care about a rematch because, at the end of the day, he won the fight and it was, it was a beatdown. But I think it should be a no
A
contest.
beatdown.
It was. It was. I didn't expect it. I had Henny win it easily, to be honest. It really caught me off guard.
Mm-hmm. Tell you what a fascinating event, what a fascinating fight. And unfortunately, it's been, somewhat tainted. The majesty of the event has been somewhat tainted because of all the swirling controversy. Well, we just hope that, New York State Athletic Commission, after their investigation, if he's guilty, slap him with a penalty, suspend him, fine him. And if it comes out that it's a product of supplement contamination, then But I wish everyone would just wait until they finish their investigation before they, because it's not good for boxing to have everyone talking about this.
Can I say something on that?
Yes, please. Absolutely, sir.
We've seen on the past, on the last few years, I think the only time that a big magnitude athlete tested positive and it was through a supplement, it was with Yoel Romero, the Cuban guy, the old Cuban guy at UFC, who tested positive. He showed them the supplements that he was taking. They analyzed the supplements, and turned out the supplement was the one that was giving the problem. So I think it's a very easy situation to clear out if it's really the supplement. And at the end of the day, if that happens, Romero got 40 million on a lawsuit from the supplement company.
Wow.
So, and in a fight of the magnitude of Ryan Garcia versus Haney, I bet Garcia will make way more. But I don't see a fighter with the money, the people working for him, as Ryan Garcia, making the wrong move and taking an untrustworthy supplement. We're making the first step of good money in boxing, and the first thing that we look is to take care of what we put in our body. When you make tens of millions of dollars, you have to be absolutely certain of what goes in your body. I think it's your responsibility.
That is a very intelligent point of view. James, honestly, he sounds a lot more sensible and a lot more intelligent than most journalists these days. Wouldn't you say, Big James?
Yeah, he kind of analyzed it right on point with what he said, especially with, the thing there as far as like being able to provide supplements and kind of like bringing that to the, say, athletic commission. If those supplements did have something where you can have those trace amounts, then, Ryan would be able to probably get in the clear. But, that's all up to him, though, in this sense.
Yes.
Yep, and there it is. And he even brought up a precedent. Wow. He's got the case study and everything. So there it is. You just survived. Fact or fiction today, my friend. How do you like that?
That was nice. That was great.
I tell you what, we know you have to run. We know you've got a busy schedule and you've got the weigh-in to get ready for, and we know you're going to make weight. And but please, before you leave, tell all of our listeners what it's like when you're trying to shed pounds during fight week. And to be able to, and once again, you're in jovial spirits and we love it, but we know this is difficult for you, isn't it, Katz?
To be honest, today I'm still good. Today is the first day that I start to feel it a little bit. Tomorrow, the day after, are going to be the hardest days. With, of course, by far the hardest is one day before the weigh-ins. And even though the weight cut process is small, it's just for 5 days basically. It's tough. It's a little tough. It takes a toll.
Oh boy. Last thing, and I'm sorry, it's just all of these I wish we had like an hour and a half with you because
Me
there's
too.
so much. Because you're so astute, and we want to pick your brain on this. You have such a good bead, seemingly, on everything. But what would you have done if you were in Haney's situation and Ryan Garcia presented you? Well, I'm 3.2 pounds overweight. We're going to offer you $1.5 million, $1.5 million if you'll just let us come in, so we don't have to kill ourselves. Would you have taken that money, or would you have made him forced him to try and make weight?
I think it was a very difficult situation that Haney was in, because at the end of the day, you can't make him try. If he doesn't want to do it, he's not going to do it. So even if I tell Ryan Garcia, you have to lose the weight, I'm not taking the money, he's not going to do it, because he already has a plan in his mind. He already knows that I'm going to go 3 pounds overweight to be stronger. So I think Haney was in a very tough situation, and to show confidence and believe in himself, he had to stay with the fight, and I think he took the right decision.
Yeah, you think Haney was in kind of a no-win situation there?
Yes.
Because let's just be honest, that wasn't a level playing field, was it?
No. I mean, not only the 3 pounds, but now that you see all the other things that he took, I mean, until proven not guilty, right now he's guilty. If he saw something with the supplements, then of course I'm going to say, sorry for believing that you were guilty, but when VADA says you are positive, you are positive. So him taking the drugs, him being 3 pounds overweight, and well more rested probably during the weight cut, it gives you a big advantage. And I think also he messed a lot with Haney's head during the build-up of the fight, acting crazy and all this kind of stuff. I think it really messed with Haney's head.
Yeah, I tell you what, guys, look at this guy, Andreas Katzourakis, not only future champion, but future promoter. There it is. There it is, Andreas. It's been our pleasure entirely, sir. Your parting shots for our listening audience. Give them a taste of what to expect this Friday on DAZN.
I mean, they can expect a firefight, that's for sure. We will go there, both me and my opponent. We are both fan favorite fighters, so we will definitely put on a show for everybody to see. And I can say that I'm definitely seeing a stoppage before the 10 rounds come.
And there it is, guys. James, do you have anything left for our brother Andreas?
Just looking forward to him facing Kudratillo, Abdukakhorov, and I'm sure that we will not need an overtime round on Friday night.
No, we should not. We should not.
And there it is. James, do you have time to finish, or is this the wrap of the show? Do you want to wrap things up?
Yeah, I'll be wrapping things up here at this point.
Very good, guys. On behalf of Big J.R. Bell of the Boxing Source, and on behalf of future champion at 54 and 60, Andreas Katzourakis, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to War Week Boxing. Have a great evening, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Board of Dentures proudly presents the fighting pride of Athens, Greece. Here is Andreas Katzourakis.